Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Nick, otherwise known here as Avialence, and today I'm coming at you with another impressions video, so to speak, for Eidos Montreal's new release, Thief. So Thief is actually a reboot of a classic franchise that started in 1998 on the PC and then expanded again into some expansions on the PC and the Xbox. Quite a popular game, really focused on stealth, and it's kind of the grandfather of all modern stealth games, so to speak. If you look at games like Dishonored, many people are saying that Dishonored is influencing Thief, which is the new remake release, but it is absolutely not. Thief made games like Dishonored possible. They were kind of built on the premise of Thief's stealth and archery system. The three main ones, which are actually three of my favorite games, are The Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. All of those games had stealth and archery combat that was influenced by Thief particularly. So it's the grandfather. It's still a good game. The remake needs a little bit of work, but let's go ahead, jump into my impressions, and I'll give you guys a feel for how the game goes. Thief is technically designed for new players. Now this is Thief 4, so to speak, but it's actually a reboot of the old franchise with a new face, and that's something that I can really appreciate. Similar to Deus Ex Human Revolution, Eidos Montreal, so to speak, kind of reworked the game into something that was their own while still adhering to all the classics that people come to expect from the franchise. Now, one of those is the fact that Thief is difficult, even on the lower difficulties. This is something that a lot of the other games really focused on. You have four main difficulties. The first of these is Rogue, which is equivalent to Easy. Second of these is Thief, which is equivalent to Normal. That's personally the difficulty I've been playing around on. Then there's also Master. Now, Master throws in a couple more things, such as more expensive equipment, no civilian kills, which is the most noticeable one, so you cannot knock out civilians at all. You can't touch them, actually. And then you also have Custom. Now, Custom is actually really, really cool, and I love it. It's essentially a completely moddable game mode. Some of these mods you can throw in there, they're crazy, like kills fail a mission, or you fail a mission if you're detected. Or, my favorite, you have to start the game over if you're actually killed. Now, these aren't for most players, but they're nice features for hardcore players plus fans of the franchise that are looking for a more difficult stealth experience. Some of them are nice, like the no crosshairs on the bow and arrow, things of that nature, but all in all, I recommend starting out on Thief if you're not a veteran of the franchise or stealth games. Now, combat in Thief is discouraged, but stealth combat works really well if you pull it off. So it's not easy, but it's also not too difficult, so to speak, and by that I mean the combat. You're going to be focusing a lot on knockouts as well as using your archery skills to get around enemies, but honestly, the easiest way to do it is just be patient, think things out, walk around and try to avoid combat unless, you need that encouragement, so to speak. You need to do combat. And that's something that I really like about the game. You are a thief. You're not an assassin. You're not a rogue. You're not anything of that nature that likes to harm people, so to speak. And Garrett is a master thief. He prides himself on not being detected, and when guards wake up, he's long gone. So the story, from a first impression standpoint, of course, because this is just an impressions piece, is fantastic so far. It's full of mystery and told through notes, which is similar to BioShock. Now, I love this. There's a lot of great story moments in there, such as this moment with Clockwise, for example. There's a lot of hidden elements, and I quite enjoy them. The Clockwise example actually pops up on the second mission, where you can actually completely miss this part of the story. I don't know who Clockwise is, but he's building these prototypes, so to speak. And I guess the idea is that he's building these prototypes, automatons, so to speak, that are going to have their own kind of souls as a human being, and you find the soul of the automaton, which is really, really cool. It was a scene that I had to kind of figure out, and without figuring out, I would have totally missed it, and I'm sure it's a very valuable part to the story. So it's nice to be patient, take your time, go through the game, and find all these secrets. Now, gameplay-wise, there's knockouts. The combat, like I previously mentioned, is focused on shadows, sticking to the shadows and avoiding combat as much as possible. You also have the idea of archery. Now, archery is very expansive in this game, and it's something that I wish we had in Skyrim, for example. You have water arrows, sawtooth arrows, the barbed point arrows, fire arrows, blunt arrows. There's tons, guys. I think there's a total of about 8 to 10 arrow combinations. You use all these for various purposes. Fire arrows can be used to light oil on fire to create a distraction or also burn an enemy. The sawtooth arrows are actually able to bore through enemy armor, which is fantastic for the later levels. The water arrows, knock out fires, so to speak, and the blunt arrows can be used to turn off light switches or things of that nature. You can't carry many of these arrows, but they're all upgradable. You can get a expanded quiver, faster draw speed, things of that nature. But the archery system in Thief is really cool, and it encourages you to think creatively, which I can really appreciate. Now, there is free running in the game. It is smooth and works very well. There's occasional glitches, namely some frame lag if you're going too fast throughout a level, but I love the free running. It's similar to something that I'd see in Mirror's Edge, so to speak. That's what a lot of my live stream viewers were making comparisons to, because it does flow very well. You are able to go around, and it's just a one-button free roam system, which is kind of nice. And when I say free roam, I mean free run, excuse me. But it's a one-button free run system. When you're holding down the left trigger, you're able to free run through almost any obstacle, and the only time it really changes up is the third person. So there are third person moments in this game and dynamics that are in third person, which I really appreciate. It's similar to Rainbow Six in Deus Ex Human Revolution, which blends these elements well. I mean, the game's great. When you're climbing a wall, right, it gives you a sense of third person. Garrett's model is gorgeous. He looks great in third person, and when you do the knockouts and stuff too, you also have third person elements in there. It's really refreshing, and again, I like the blend between first and third person. It's something that I haven't seen in a game for a while, and I can really appreciate when it comes down to Thief. So, there's upgrades in the game. They don't have much outside of statistical value. You can upgrade Garrett's armor. There's no, aesthetically pleasing upgrades, so to speak. Your bow won't change colors or, look any cooler when you upgrade the draw speed or the damage. Your quiver won't increase. You'll still look the same, which is slightly disappointing. I would have liked to see some upgrades that had outside of gameplay effects, had aesthetic effects as well. But that's just something that I feel could definitely have been added to the game. Now, outside of these upgrade system, you do have a focus system as well. So, without spoiling too much, Garrett is in a supernatural accident in the first couple minutes of the game. So, I promise I'm not spoiling too much. And he gets this ability to use focus. So, he's able to focus, and this lets you hone in on items around your environment. Now, when this first comes up, it's basically like highlighting, as in Batman's detective mode, so to speak, that you'd see in Batman Arkham City or Arkham Asylum. And this allows you to highlight loot, interactable objects, noticeable loot. There'll be handprints towards where valuable loot has been stored, and you can upgrade this system. Now, you can throw these focus points in by purchasing them from the Queen of Beggars.
Garrett, you walk a path few would wish.
So the Queen of Beggars gives you the opportunity to donate gold to the beggars and her church, so to speak. And she gives you focus points in reward. This is kind of nice. I mean, again, I like the emphasis on loot. That's what a lot of this game is about. But the focus points allow you to upgrade things such as efficiency, be able to hear sounds, hear and see sound around corners and stuff when you're in focus mode. And you restore focus mode by eating these poppy flowers, which are actually quite rare. But again, I feel like it's similar to BioShock Infinite's salt system, where it encourages you to use it really intelligently, which is quite nice. Can save you in some combat instances, but, again, try to avoid those in my opinion. So, there is open world in the game. It opens up quite a lot after about the first 30-40 minutes of the game, and while it isn't quite Skyrim, it's actually pretty large in scale. You can explore and loot the city freely. There's plenty of doors, windows, safes, and, paintings to tear down and add to your collection or loot through, which is quite nice. I will actually have a couple videos of the free roaming on this channel, so be sure to stick around for that. There's side missions as well as these free roam exercise, which is typically go to point A, loot this, but it's always a little bit of a challenge, so it kind of gives you something to do. Now, as far as the loot goes, it involves plenty of collectibles, which I can appreciate. These are all added back at your hideout. So these collectibles involve regular loot, such as, gold cups, gold candlesticks, etc., and then the actual collectibles, which there's sets of different loot that have history. So there's 6 armbands with this, or this painting that has this history, and the story goes to, explain more about the world of Thief, which I can really appreciate. These collectibles can be found in safes. I like the idea that when you're actually hacking, I'm so used to saying hacking. When you're cracking safes, you actually need to find the combination, or you can go through each dial and, 1 through 9, and figure out which one's right. There's wires, devices, etc. that really encourage you to have many different options and explore the game, so it's quite fascinating. Now, the hideout here, I think, is a missed opportunity. Here you store your collectibles. You have a little stash where you can store some gear, but there's really not much there outside of that. It's a clock tower. It's a great hideout, but you can't really interact with anything. You can't even light the candles or, read a paper in there. So I wish there was a little more on that note as far as the hideout goes, like there was in Deus Ex Human Revolution's office with Adam Jensen. But, that's something that just maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity. So to go ahead and close, I think that Thief is a great stealth game for stealth game fans, or those who are looking for more of a single-player challenge experience. It's difficult, it's hard, and it's really cool that they've made it that challenging. Possibly a hardcore Skyrim stealth archer, or a fan of the Elder Scrolls who plays like me with stealth archery. It's definitely worth your time. But otherwise, guys, I would honestly wait for something a bit more accessible to you. Thief is great, but it's only great for those who can appreciate stealth games, and that's kind of how I feel about the overall piece of material there. So that's Thief. It's a great game. I think it's worth your time if you're a fan of stealth games. If not, though, look for something that's a little more your speed. Thanks for watching this Impressions video, guys. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it. Feel free to share the video with any friends that are curious about Thief. And, of course, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already for weekly gaming videos, gameplay elements, live streams, things of that nature. It's all here on Avialence, and I'd love to have you as part of the family. So until the next Impressions piece, guys, have a good one, go steal some stuff, and become a master thief.
I need you to obtain a ring for me.
Getting married?
Never again. You mangy bird. I swear one day I'm gonna have you made into a hat.